You know, the topic of happiness is a very broad one, isn't it? It's probably a very highly searched one on YouTube and the bookstore and the self-help section. There's plenty of books you can find, and I'm sure they sell out quite often. And I've talked about happiness and how to be happy. I have pretty strong opinions about it, and I consider myself a typically happy guy. But I have my moments. I have my times when I go through a spate where I'm just not feeling too good at all. I can think I have things figured out. And I'm traveling down the road. I'm smoothly taking the corners and the bends in the road, and before you know it, I think I've got things figured out, but something jumps out in front of me and just throws everything into kilter, right? Sometimes you feel you're careening off the cliff, and you think to yourself, but I thought I was happy. Happy can be elusive. Happiness can be elusive. That's what I meant to say. Happiness can be elusive, and and there are plenty of people who can tell you what they think it takes to be happy. But then, on the other hand, there are people who are never happy, but they want to be. There's a difference between those who are not happy and want to be, and those who do not want to be. You know, the perpetual victims in life, those who just they're just not going to get it figured out because they don't want to. They're somehow comfortable in their misery. But that's not who I want to talk about today. I want to talk about those who want to be happy but don't necessarily feel so. I want to share with you an article out of the current Reader's Digest. I've mentioned this Reader's Digest before, and this is on page 25. It's an article called How to Feel Happy Even When You're Not. It's written by Arthur C. Brooks. It's from The Atlantic. And the subtitle to this is Simple as it sounds, plastering on a smile can be the first step toward cheering yourself up. Listen to this carefully. Norman Rockwell created some of the most iconic images of 20th century America. His paintings, such as the Four Freedoms series from World War II and The Problem We All Live With from the Civil Rights Movement, were intended to evoke the best in people who saw them: hope, solidarity, courage, justice. But much of his work also inspired happiness, capturing scenes of lighthearted joy. Consider Shiner, which depicts a young girl with a black eye sitting outside the principal's office with a grin that tells you she has just been the victor in combat. I have seen these paintings my whole life, starting with my grandfather's beloved dog-eared coffee table book of Rockwell's greatest works. A printing press operator in Longview, Washington, my grandfather was no art connoisseur, but he gave this assessment of Rockwell: these pictures make me feel happy. And yet Rockwell himself struggled with happiness. In 1953, he moved to Stockbridge, Massachusetts, a bucolic town in the Berkshires, not for its natural beauty and peace, but because it happened to be the home of a psychiatric hospital where he and his wife could receive treatment for chronic depression. There, he was a patient of the world famous psychoanalyst Erik Erikson, with whom Rockwell racked up a therapy bill so large that he had to accept commissions for Kellogg's Corn Flakes magazine ads. That a man with such significant happiness problems would be known for painting images of undeniable happiness might seem ironic. In truth, it's not strange at all. Research shows not only that you can bring joy to others even if you're unhappy, but also that doing so is a reliable way to improve your own well-being too. The key is to act like a happy person would, even if you don't feel like it. Last year, researchers at the University of California at Riverside asked people to behave in either extroverted or introverted ways for 1 week. Those who purposely acted extroverted, which decades of research have shown is one of the most common characteristics of happy people, saw a significant increase in well-being. Meanwhile, acting introverted led to a decrease. Similarly, spending money on others and volunteering have been shown to raise one's own happiness levels. One plausible explanation is that pro-social behaviors induce a cognitive dissonance. I feel unhappy, but I'm acting happy, which people resolve subconsciously by feeling happier. Richard Wiseman, a psychologist at the University of Hertfordshire in the United Kingdom, calls this the as if principle. If you want to feel a certain way, act as if you already do, and your brain will grant you that feeling, at least for a while. In common parlance, fake it till you make it. I'm not suggesting that fake it till you make it is a substitute for traditional medical treatment for depression, of course. Rockwell was in formal therapy most of his adult life, but his happy paintings were clearly part of his treatment. As Rockwell's biographer Deborah Solomon points out, he was painting his longing. Even if not literally, you can use the Rockwell formula to bring joy to yourself and the people around you when you are down. First, ask what happy people in your situation would do to make things better for themselves and others. How would they greet others in the first call of the day? How would they write an email? Whom would they call just to check in? If you're stuck, interview happy people you know about the little things they do for their acquaintances and loved ones. Next, make a plan to follow through on everything you just imagined. Write 3 ideas for extra kind greetings on a post-it note and stick it below your computer screen before that Zoom or phone call. Draft a sample email in the voice of a happy person and use it as a template. By deliberately preparing yourself to cheer up the people around you the way a happy person spontaneously would, you'll create the conditions by which you can produce your own happiness naturally and give the gift of happiness to others as well. What do you guys think of that? Put your comments down below. I'll tell you what I think. I think he's on to something here. And it's interesting when you can give somewhat of a historical backdrop from a well-known name, somebody that people can, relate to. We oftentimes think of artists and people of their ilk like that, musicians and celebrities, as kind of being above the fray in a lot of ways, maybe having some sort of privilege or some sort of formula that can make them exempt from things that you and I down here at ground level experience. But the truth is, this is common to all people. The other thing I like about this is that it puts the responsibility for your happiness in your own hands. No longer do you have to expect someone else to make you happy. You know people like that, right? They always think it's somebody else's job to make them happy. And if you haven't made them happy, they're going to let you know. They'll make no bones about it. But the truth is, it's up to you to make you happy. And as simple as it sounds, it might just be a matter of acting as if you're already happy. See, the problem I think a lot of people have with stuff like this is that one of the prevailing, do I want to call it a philosophy? One of the prevailing philosophies in society today is just be who you are. Don't let anybody tell you any differently. Well, I disagree with that. I don't think most people even know who they are. And I think even those people are pretending. And might not even suggest that those people who have a victim mentality and are unhappy might even be pretending. Maybe they've played that role for so long that they forget why they started doing it, and now they can't get out of it. It's easier to get into muck than to get out of it. So I think it's important to revisit the topic of how to be happy quite often. Because like I said, you think you can know, you can go along for quite a while, and something totally unexpected, something so small might trip you up, and you might wonder where it went. How it could have left you so easily. But it's something common to all of us. Doesn't matter who you are. So take these words to heart. Tell me your thoughts. Give me your opinions. What does it take to make you happy? Do you take personal responsibility for your own happiness, or do you lay it on others? That's what I want you to ponder today. All right, guys, have a great day. Be wise.